So good morning all. Today we will discuss on the unit number 1 of supply chain that consists of the objectives, the value chain and the key issues, best practices of supply chain management and the green supply chain including the supply chain sustainability. So this is the syllabus of the unit number 1. So before moving on to the syllabus or in brief, let me explain what is supply chain. So to for take any product, say for example any product you may take that starts with the origin of the supply chain and it ends with the customer. So the origin of the product till it reaches the customer. You can see here the supply chain is the flow of raw materials and processes that fulfills a customer need. So supply chain is nothing but it is a flow of raw materials. So where the raw materials will come? So raw materials will start from the farmer, it moves to the supplier, supplier will supply it to the manufacturer. So in the manufacturing unit or in the production unit, what would happen? The raw materials are converted into finished products, that is in the manufacturing units. Once the unit has been produced or once the product has been made to the finished goods, then that is moved to the warehouse. From the warehouse, the distributor, from the distributor will go to the wholesaler, then it will reach to retailers, then customer and consumer. This is how the supply chain works. It starts from the point of origin. Point of origin is nothing but it starts with the raw materials that is supplied by the farmers or through the suppliers, and till it reaches the origin of consumption, it is called a supply chain. In every part, you can see in the diagram itself, you can see in the down part, it starts with the raw materials, supplier is there, then it will reach to manufacturer, then distributor, then retailers, then to the consumers. This is how the supply chain works. So along with that, there is a planning is there. Planning is nothing but how a product has to be produced, like the taste and preferences of the customer is mattered. Then the information is nothing but flow of information between each other. The information will flow to the upward as well as the backward itself. That is nothing but here the retailers or the wholesalers will come to know the taste and preferences through the consumers. Then the retailer wholesalers will tell it to the distributor, the distributor tell it to the manufacturing unit, and they will produce the product as per the taste and preferences of a consumer. That is the information flow, that is a backward flow of information, where the customer will go to the retailer shop or the wholesale shop, then they will tell, so this is what the taste and preferences of a customer. Then what the person will do, what the retailer or a wholesaler will do, he will go to the distributor and he will tell what are the queries of a customer. Then he will move to the manufacturer, and in the manufacturing unit they will plan and they will decide what kind of the product should be produced so that we can satisfy the customers. That is what the supply chain means. Again, the supply chain consists of all the stages involved directly or indirectly. So directly is nothing but the manufacturing unit or the other the production unit, or it's the warehouse or the distributor or the wholesaler or retailer. So there are various indirect stages are also involved in fulfilling the customer request. So ultimately, whatever the goods you produced or whatever the product you produced, that ultimate aim is to satisfy the needs and wants of a customer. If you want to satisfy the needs and wants of a customer, then the every part of supply chain or every stages of supply chain is important, so that without any delay or without any imbalance of the things, we can supply the products to the customers. So that is what the ultimate aim of the supply chain. As I said, you can look at the diagram where it will explain properly. Then, so there are various objectives of a supply chain. So now you came to know what is supply chain. Supply chain, it includes all the steps directly or indirectly from the point of origin to the point of consumption. So that is your supply chain, and there are various objectives. One is customer satisfaction. As I said, the main aim of supply chain management is to satisfy the needs and the wants of the customers, delivering at a proper time. So that is customer satisfaction. Then efficiency and speed. So when every stages of a supply chain goes in a proper way, that is nothing but supplier will supply the products or the raw materials at the proper time, the manufacturer will manufacture in a proper time, and that is given to the distributor, the wholesaler, retailers. If everything happens in a proper time, obviously the products will reach the customers in a speed or in a efficiency or effective manner. Improved inventory management. So inventory management is nothing but if you're dealing with the stocks or the raw materials or the finished goods, it includes everything, or the repairs, it includes everything. So inventory is, it might be called as stock or the raw materials or the finished goods or the work in progress, everything. So inventory management is nothing but once the product has to, or the raw material has to reach to the manufacturing unit, then obviously it should be stored. Again, after manufacturing, that finished product will go for warehousing. So that to produce the product, raw materials are important. So if the supply chain will move in a proper direction, then obviously the inventory management will be good, and without any wastage of inventory we can produce the products. Next, collaboration and integration. So collaboration is nothing but, so you need to find the suppliers who can supply the products at the proper time without any delay of transportation or the price, or price bargaining, or with a less cost giving more of quality goods. So this is how the collaboration will start with the suppliers. It is not only the collaboration with the suppliers, or we can collaborate with the distributors or the wholesalers or the retailers. So if you are having a proper relationship each and every one, so in the supply chain, obviously it will have a good movement of goods and we can satisfy the customers in a proper way. Then cost reduction. When, as you know, supply chain consists of all the stages, starting from the farmers or the suppliers till it reaches your end customers. Everywhere or in every stage, the cost is an important aspect. So if you are managing the supply chain properly or engaging all the stages properly, then obviously we can reduce the cost. So the cost, it might be the transportation, or we call it as logistics, or the inventory management, or in the warehousing, or in the manufacturing unit. If you are managing all the stages or all the process properly, then we can reduce the cost. By reducing the cost, ultimately we can cut down the cost of the final product. Flexibility and responsiveness. So flexibility is nothing but adapting to the quick change the market. As I said, take for example, Lifebuoy soap was there. In the earlier days, it used to be very, very big, and you can't hold it in a hands properly. So suddenly, the what happens? So suddenly, the based on the taste and preference of the customers, now the design has been changed in the Lifebuoy soap. That is how the quick response. So immediately, what the Lifebuoy has done, so instead of producing the larger soap, what they did the smaller soap which we can hold, and they sold it to the market. So that is a quick response. So quick response will change as per the taste and preferences. If suddenly, if the customers or the consumers are changing their taste and preferences, that the wholesalers or the retailers or the manufacturer should understand this product is not taken by a customers because his taste and preferences are different, and we need to produce as per the taste and preference of a respective customers. That is what the quick response, we are changing to the changing technology or changing taste and preference of a customer. Next, enhancing profitability. So if the proper products are produced, and if you are sending it to the market, then obviously customer satisfaction will happen. If supply chain is going good, cost reduction will happen. If supply chain is going good, the proper inventory management will happen. If supply chain is going good, we can enhance the profitability. If cost is reduced, if customers are satisfied in a good manner, and if collaboration is done in a proper way, if efficiency is managed, then obviously we can enhance the profit. So that is what the ultimate aim of a manufacturer or even the wholesalers or the retailers, to get the profit. If every stages of a supply chain will go in a proper way, then obviously we can earn the profit or we can make a revenue. Risk management. So risk management is nothing but in every stages there is a risk. So the risk is, if the manufacturing unit want to produce the product, ultimately they should get the raw materials from the suppliers. So what is the risk? Supplier may not supply the products at the proper time, or the raw materials at the proper time, due to the transportation delay, or due to the improper communication, or due to the price variations. That what happens. That is a risk. If raw materials are not reaching the manufacturing unit in a proper time, you can't produce the product at the proper time. So it will become a delay in a customer end. You can't give the products at the proper time whenever the customer has ordered. So that is one risk. So if in the manufacturing unit, if there is a breakdown of a machine, then obviously the production will stop. Again, if come to the distributor, if distributor is not distributing the goods properly, then obviously it is a risk. Then in the same way, wholesalers or the retailers. Risk management is nothing but if supply chain all the stages are doing good, then obviously we can minimize the risk. If supplier is good, then he will supply the raw materials. Likewise, if the manufacturing everything is taken care, or if every service is good, manufacturer will do the manufacturing of products very easily. In the same way, the collaboration with the distributor or with the wholesalers or the retailers, if everything is going good, obviously we can manage the risk. So that is what the objectives of a supply chain. So ultimate aim of supply chain is to satisfy the needs and wants of the customer effectively and efficiently, and earning the profit. That is what the object of supply chain. So next we have benefits of strong supply chain. So now we are going to study. So what are the benefits? Yes. So product availability is nothing but it ensures the product are always in the stock. So that is nothing but, so the main aim of supply chain is to produce the product and to deliver the products at the right time to the customers, and it ensures to make a proper production or to deliver the proper products. Then it ensures that the stock or the raw materials are always available, or the finished goods are always available in the manufacturing unit or in the warehouse. So next we have inventory management. So inventory management, as I said, it is managing the raw materials, finished goods, as well as the supplies and everything. So managing whether every stock is there in the inventory is there in the manufacturing unit or in the warehouse or not. It is nothing but the inventory management. It optimizes the stock levels. There should be a the minimum stock level. It should not be maximum, it should not be any kind of below the level. It should be always some stock should be there in the warehouse, so that we can make a production. Next, cost reduction. As I said, in the objectives of the supply chain, the cost reduction is nothing but in every stage, if the supply chain is managed in a proper way, then obviously cost reduction will happen. Efficiency and productivity. So when supply chain, every stages of the supply chain is moving in a proper direction, then obviously we can reduce the cost and we can have efficiency. This business growth, when everything goes in a proper direction, or when everything goes right to the right in the company or in any supply chain, obviously we can earn the profit so that we can grow in the market. The supply chain stages. So supply chain stages starts from planning. So planning is nothing but you're going to plan from whom you're going to get the supplies, or where you want to manufacture, or who are the suppliers, who are the manufacturers, or who are the wholesalers, retailers, or the distributors. Everything we're going to plan in the planning stage. Manufacturing is nothing but transforming the raw materials into finished goods. Next, distribution. So distribute, you can see the sourcing is also there. After planning, the next step is sourcing. Sourcing is nothing but identifying. So identifying the raw materials from where you want to buy it. So after planning, next is sourcing. After sourcing, we are manufacturing, conversion of raw materials into finished goods. Next, warehouse. So after manufacturing, the finished goods should go for warehousing. Next, so after warehousing, next is distribution. From the warehouse, the truck will be loaded and will send it to the distribution. So distribution, it includes, after distribution, wholesaler is also there, retailer is also there. And then next, retailing is there. So after retailers, it will go for customers. You will buy the goods in the retail shop. From the customer, it will go to, if there is any return of the products or any repairs or warranty or after sale service, everything is a returns. So that is where the supply chain stages works. Next, we have the value chain analysis. So value chain is nothing but, as I said, in every stages of supply chain, the value is added. If a product has to be called as the finished goods, take for example pen. If a pen has to be called as full-fledged pen, first we should have a ink in that. We should have outer part of the body of the pen, and we should have a cap, and the refill should be filled with proper ink. Then the top cap should be there, or the bottle roller should be there. So this all includes These are all the parts of a pen. So after assembling all the parts of a pen, we call it as a full product. If it wants to become a proper product, and it should have a proper supply chain starting from the supplier till it reaches the customer. That is how the value chain will start. The value chain is nothing but in the process of supply chain, in every stage we are going to add value. Adding value is nothing but to produce a product, first raw material should come. So raw materials will be converted into finished goods in manufacturing. There the value is added. Again it will come to distributor. There advertising, the marketing and sales, the brand, again the value is added. And when it comes to retailers, the value is added. When coming to the customers, the value is added. So in every stage we are adding the values. So you can see the value chain process refers to the series of activities the company performs to deliver a valuable product or the services to the market. It includes everything from acquiring raw materials to making the product. As I said, from the suppliers, the value will add in every stage. In supplier, the manufacturer, the distributor, the wholesaler, retailers, in every stage, the value is added to the product and that product is delivered to the customers. You can see in the diagram, it itself indicates the things. We call it as inbound logistics. You can see two activities are there. Primary activity is nothing but those activities are directly involved in this process. You can see the support activity is nothing but the indirectly these things are supporting towards the value chain analysis. So you can see the primary product in the down part. Inbound logistics is there, operation is there, outbound logistics is there, marketing and sales, and service. So inbound logistics refers from supplier till the raw materials receives to the manufacturer. From supplier to the manufacturer, it is called inbound. Here manufacturing or manufacturing unit or production unit is the center part. From supplier till manufacturer, it is called inbound. So after raw materials turned into finished goods, from manufacturer till customer, it is called as outbound logistics. You can see in the diagram properly, you can see the diagram. Inbound logistics operation, we call it as operation or manufacturing. Two words can be used. Then outbound logistics. Outbound logistic is nothing but from manufacturer till the consumer. Then marketing and sales. Marketing and sale is nothing but advertising will be there, branding will be there. Then service. Serving is nothing but service is nothing but so after the sales you're going to provide warranties, return, repairs, and everything. So the best example I can give for the service is, so take for example refrigerator or TV companies or the TV shops. Once you sell the product, that is not the end of the contract. So after you make a sale of a TV, then for installation, the people or support staff should go and there install it. And if there is any repairs or if there is any problem with that, again the shop people should visit those places and they should make a repairs. That is what the service includes. Inbound logistics operations, that is nothing but manufacturing. Outbound logistics moving from manufacturing unit to the customer. Then marketing and sales, that is nothing but advertising or branding will be there. Then service is nothing but after sales service. You can see the support activities which are indirectly involved. One is firm is infrastructure. Infrastructure is nothing but land, building, or the furniture, or the capital things. Human resource management. To produce any product, human resources is required. Without people, you can't do the activities. Then technology. Technology is nothing but to produce any kind of things the technology is required or innovation is required. That is the supporting activity. Procurement. So procurement is nothing but procuring the raw materials or finding and getting the raw materials. That's called as procurement. The word comes in the suppliers. Supplier will procure the raw materials from the farmers and they will get it to the manufacturer. So that is procurement. Done. So if primary and support activities are then on, obviously we will have a value chain. You can see here, you can see the example, you can read it yourself. I gave an example of manufacturing company. What does inbound logistic involves? Operation involves the outbound logistics, marketing and sales, service. Then you have the supporting activities, that are the four activities. So after the product passes all these nine activities, then the value is added to the product. You can read it to yourself. Then supply chain cycle has four things. One is procurement. Procurement is nothing but manufacturer procure materials from suppliers, or the supplier will get or will procure the raw materials from the farmers. That is procurement. Then customer order. So customer order, it starts from, we call it, we can start from the replenishment. Replenishment is nothing but refilling the stock. First, customer order will be there, customer places the order, then replenishment is nothing but refilling of the stock. If the stock has been finished, then we'll refill it. Then again the manufacturing will happen. That is nothing but conversion of raw materials into finished goods. Then we have procurement, procuring the material from the suppliers. After manufacturing, the distribution will happen, the stock will get over, then we'll procure the products from the suppliers. That is how supply chain cycle works. Then cycle view of supply chain processes. As you can observe in the diagram, first we have customer order cycle, replenishment cycle, manufacturing cycle, procurement cycle. Then here customer order process or customer arrival is there, customer order entry is there, customer order fulfillment is there, customer order receiving is there. So these are all the things involved in customer order cycle or customer order process. When a customer will arrives, what kind of the product he will order, or how we are going to fulfill his orders, that is the customer orders. Then the customer receiving the product. Next, we have replenishment cycle. So replenishment cycle is nothing but if the stock has been finished, you can see retail order trigger. When the stock has been finished or the stock has become an empty, we will refill it, we will trigger that, will trigger that stock button and will start refilling the stock so that we can satisfy the needs and the wants of the customers. Then retail order entry is there, retail order fulfillment is there. That is nothing but ordering the stock and refilling the stock. That is what given. Then we have manufacturing cycle, order arrival from the suppliers, production scheduling, when the product should be produced, then manufacturing or shipping. So after the production of the products, we will going to ship it. Then receiving the warehouse will receive the products. Then procurement, component order arrival, that is nothing but refilling of procurement is nothing but getting the products from the suppliers. Production scheduling, again production schedule will happen, then shipping and receiving. That is nothing but the same activities will be repeated in the various stages or various process. Supply chain challenges. So what are the challenges you will face in a supply chain? As I said, supply chain involves various stages starting from the raw material, that is the suppliers, till it reaches the customers. We call it as point of origin to the point of consumption. It involves more of the persons or the more of the stages. Nearly 10 to 12 stages are there. In each stage again we have so much of problems. So supply chain challenges includes, there is number, what are the challenges faced by a supply chain? First is demand forecasting. So demand forecasting is nothing but whenever you have to produce the products, whenever you want to produce something to the market or you want to give something to the outer world, first you need to forecast the demand. So without forecasting the demand, you can't produce the exact number of products required for the society. If you want to produce, take for example, if you want to produce the pen, first if you want to produce the pen to the market, first you need to analyze how much pen is required by the society or from the market. First you need to forecast the demand, analyzing how much of pen is required, then you can start the product. Simply you can't produce 10 pen or 100 pen or 1000 pen. It is focused on the demand forecasting. So why demand forecasting is a challenge? You can't predict the exact demand or exact number of pen required for the society or to the market. That is one, that is one challenge. Then inventory problems. So inventory problem is not the word. As I said, whenever you want to produce the products, the raw materials is required. If the raw material shortage is there or the irregular supply of raw materials is there, then inventory problem will arise. Next, supply chain visibility. So The supply chain visibility is very low because we have very what we call it as it is hinders the quick response or quick issue identification. We don't know what exactly if the take for example, if the product is produced and from the manufacturing unit the truck has been left, truck is filled and we left the truck from the manufacturing unit, it has to reach from here to somewhere else. Take for example, the product should reach from Bellore Cross or from Mandya till we can call it as Delhi. That is the distance. So here if anything happens in between the transportation, that is the final consumer will not be knowing that in this place this kind of things has been happened because so much of visibility is not there. That is what happens. If machine has been breakdown in the manufacturing unit, that will not be known by the end customer. That is visibility is very low in the supply chain. You can't predict what happening in at what stage. Supplier reliability. So having a good relationship with the customers, with the supplier is very much important, because whenever you're not having any good relationship or good contract or collaboration with the suppliers, so it will be a big issue, because you can't switch supplier from one supplier to another suppliers will arise the switching cost. Switching cost is in the word. Take for example, if the relationship between the supplier is good with the manufacturer, whenever he calls and tells this much of stock is required, this much of quantity is required, and it should be in a limited price. If you have a good relation, you can speak all these things, and since you are having a good collaboration with each other, he will provide the raw materials whenever you require. But take for example, if there is no proper coordination with the supplier, then you can't receive the supplies or raw materials at the proper time. You can't accept the same price, or there is a delay in the supplies. These things will happen. So supplier reliability is that one challenge. Logistics challenges is nothing but logistic, in a simple words we can call it as transportation. If anything happens in a transportation, it might be the natural disaster, or it might be the any kind of accidents, or any kind of delays, or any kind of damage may happen during the logistics. That is also one of the challenge. Then high supply chain cost. As I said, supply chain has various stages. In each stages there is the incurring of cost. It might be in the manufacturing stage, or it might be in the warehouse stage, or it might be the inventory, or during the time of transportation, or during the time of distribution, or in the wholesalers, or in the retailers. So in every stage there is high cost of supply chain. Then stakeholders coordination. Stakeholders are nothing but, it is not the shareholders, it is the stakeholders. Stakeholders includes every person who are directly or indirectly involved in the supply chain. It may be the customers, the wholesalers, the retailers, or the manufacturer, or the production unit, or the farmers, or the customer, or the society we can call it as, or the government, or the financial institutions like bank. Every person are a part of supply chain, so there should be a coordination between all this person to have a good supply chain or efficient supply chain. Then we'll come across the logistics. So in simple words I said logistic is nothing but transportation. It is not exactly transportation. Just for your understanding, I'm telling logistic equals transportation. You can see here, logistics refers to the process of planning, implementing, and controlling the efficient movement and storage of goods, services, and information from point of origin to point of consumption. So logistic is nothing but it involves the planning, organizing, controlling and coordinating the movement of goods. Movement is nothing but transportation or storage of goods. It is inventory or warehouse. So everything is involved in logistics. Scope. What is the focus? Focus is nothing but movement, storage, delivery. It ensure logistic ensure there is a proper movement of goods, proper storage of goods, and proper delivery of goods. Delivery of goods is nothing but whenever a customer orders something, some products, then we need to make a proper on-time delivery to the customers whenever it is required for him. Scope, a part of the broader supply chain. So if you observe the second slide, if you observe the second slide, will give an example. If you observe the diagram which I showed, you'll understand logistics is a part of supply chain. If you observe this diagram, you can see here raw materials, suppliers, distributor, manufacturer, retailers, consumer. These are all the various stages, but you can see the diagram, the arrow mark, logistics. So logistics is involved in every stages of the supply chain. So logistics is a part of broader supply chain. So understand, logistics is a part of broad supply chain. Out of all the stages, in the middle you can see everywhere logistic is there, or we call it as transportation. So because of that, logistics is a part of supply chain. Then key activities, you can see the key activities. You have the transportation, warehouse, inventory, and order fulfillment. And I have given logistic and supply chain in the same slide was because to you to understand the differentiation of logistic and supply chain. You can see here the focus is movement, storage, delivery. You can see the focus of supply chain management, end to end coordination and integration, because it is in a broader view. Then scope, the part of the broader supply chain. Here the scope is covers logistics plus sourcing plus procurement plus production plus customer service. Everything is involved. But logistics only focused only focused on movement, storage, and delivery. But supply chain focuses every part. Yes, inbound and outbound logistics. So inbound and outbound logistic is nothing but, you can see in the here, from supplier till the firm is nothing but manufacturing unit or production unit, it is called as inbound logistics. From firm it will reach to customer, it is called as outbound logistics, which I already explained. Then there are supply chain drivers. So supply chain drivers, so driver is nothing but it is a factor that influence company performance or the overall success. What drives a company into the success? There are various facilities, various drivers are there. One is facilities includes the physical location like factory, warehouse, that used to produce the product and store the products that is required. Then inventory like raw materials, work in progress, finished goods, and supplies. Everything is included in the inventory. Then transportation is the movement of goods from one location to another location. It might be in the stage of supplier stage or manufacturing stage or distribution stage or wholesaler retailers or to the ultimate consumer. This transportation is required. It might be in the form of airways or roadways or the railways. Information is very much important. As I said, without forecasting the demand you can't produce a product. That is one of kind of information. And to get to know the taste and preferences of a customer, information flow should be there, from the customer to the retailers to the wholesalers to the distributors to the manufacturing unit or to the production. That is where the information is shared. Then sourcing is nothing but procuring or getting the raw materials from the farmers or from the suppliers. Pricing, so pricing is very much important in supply chain, because in every stages of the supply chain the price is involved. Then supply chain strategies are there. Supply chain strategy is efficient based strategies, or we call it as lean supply chain. It focuses on minimizing the waste, reducing the cost. If you minimize the waste, reduce the cost, obviously efficiency is increased or profitability is also increased. It includes just in time. So just in time is nothing but whenever you want to produce the product, at that time you're going to make an order of the inventory and you will get the inventory in the proper time, instead of keeping for a longer period of time, or instead of having those inventory in the warehouse, so that it will reduce the space. Just in time, for that just in time is important. Or inventory reduction, or keeping a minimum stock. If you're keeping the maximum stock with a lower production, the space is waste, the maintenance cost is more, That is why minimum stock is required to avoid the waste. Responsiveness based strategies, we call it agile supply chain. Agile supply chain is nothing but we are going to quickly adapt to the customer demand. Responsiveness, we are going to respond for the customers for their for their preferences. Soon after the customer changes its taste and preferences, we are going to accept that, and we are going to produce the product as per the needs and wants of a customer. That is what I said. Responsiveness, we are quickly responding to the customer queries. That is what the responsiveness based strategy involves. Then we have cost focused strategies. As a name itself indicates, if as a name itself indicates, cost focused, we are reducing the cost of a product of any supply chain process. So how we are going to reduce the cost? Either in the you are cut down the cost in the manufacturing unit. You can see in the key characteristics, we wrote the outsourcing. Outsourcing is nothing but marketing. Every activity is done by one person, but for manufacturing of a product will outsource to the some other third party. Outsourcing is nothing but giving the main activity or giving the main stages to some other additional extra party, so that they will make, they means the outsourced person will make the production and they will give the finished product to us, and we will market those products. That is outsourcing. We can outsource the various processes like supplying of raw materials, or manufacturing we can outsource, or marketing we can outsource, anything. Then economy of scale is nothing but whenever you increase the volume of production, obviously the cost per unit will reduce. When you're doing the production at a bulk, then the cost for one unit will reduce. That is what the economy of scale. Then customization strategies, we are customizing the products and services based on the specific needs and wants of a customer. So best example I can give you is the Rolls Royce car. So those Rolls Royce car, you can't see so much of produced cars in any kind of showroom, because Rolls Royce is a name where is a car where if you give the order, if you give a proper specific order, then they will produce the product as per the needs and wants of the buyer. That is what customization. We are customizing the facilities or the features or the product based on the customer taste and preferences. That is the customization strategies. Because why it is called as customer centric, flexible manufacturing, shorter lead time. So lead time is nothing but once the stock has been finished, we are ensuring the refilling of stock, that period from the date of order of stock till it reaches the unit, that is called as lead time. Then we have strategic fit. So you can see strategic fit means the company's supply chain strategy is aligned with the competitive business strategies. So here, so compared to the business strategy is a, sorry, supply chain is a part. In a company or in a business, supply chain is a part. So business will have its core values or core objectives will be there, or we will have business goals. So always business goal should be matched with the supply chain strategies. If both are aligned in a proper way, then we can get the strategic fit. You can see the diagram itself. One side you have competitive strategies, nothing but business strategies. In a OS axis you can see the supply chain strategy. When supply chain strategy and competitive strategy or business strategies both are clubbed, we can get the strategic fit zone. So strategy fit zone is nothing but when both supply chain strategy as well as the competitive business strategies both are aligned properly, then we can get the cost advantage, high responsiveness, product innovation, customer service, profitability, effectiveness, and everything can be done when both supply chain strategies as well as business competitive business strategies. When both are aligned properly, then we can get the advantage. That is what given in the strategic fit. Then what are the supply chain best strategies or best practices? Supply chain has best practices. So what are the practices? You can see the first one is adoption of automated technology. So I will give an example for automated technology. So if you go for, once the goods has been manufactured, and if you want to send it to the warehouse is nothing but we are going to fill the finished products there. Some robots are used to place the finished goods. You can see there are trucks, we call it as, we call it as forklift, or we call it as small cranes, or we call it as stackers. These are all the equipments you can find it in a warehouse. They're all automated, and some robots are there to refill it. Automated technology is nothing but, if you switch on the robot will take the product and it will place the product wherever it is required in a warehouse. Or you can every stage the automation is there in the production or in this warehousing or in the distribution. Next, set a clear objectives. So supply chain will set a clear objective so that it will satisfy the needs and wants of a customer. Then we have an ESG first approach. So ESG is nothing but, it is the environmental sustainability. S means social responsibility, and G means governmental and ethical practices. So whenever you are going to start a supply chain, whenever the supply chain has to move in a proper direction, then ESG is important, where environmental responsibility, social responsibility, as well as government and ethical practices should be there. That is the best practices. Then transparency. So in every stage transparency is required. What is transparency? So whatever the activity you do in a supply chain, it should be visible to all the members or all the stakeholders of different stages. Then defined KPIs. So KPI is nothing but key performing indicators. So it should indicate, or it should define what are it key performing indicators. It might be the price, it might be the quality, or it might be the brand, or it might be the marketing, or anything. It should define that what exactly the KPIs are. Then we can work on where the weakness is there or where the strength is there. Enhanced demand forecasting process. So demand forecasting, as I said, if you want to produce any product, demand is very much important. If you forecast the demand in a proper way, then obviously what you can get, we can produce the product based on the needs, how much it is required, how much we want to produce. Instead of bulk producing, how much demand is there, that much of product should be produced. That's it. Then inventory management is very much important, so that shortage of inventory is also reduced, or the maximum stock is also reduced. There should be a minimum. So that is what inventory management, managing the proper stock. So better supplier relation, as I said, if you're not having the proper relationship with the supplier, then obviously will arrive at the switching cost. Switching cost is nothing but, if you're switching supplier from one supplier to another supplier, the cost will arise. Then risk mitigation and compliance framework. Risk mitigation is nothing but, when the supply chain will have proper set of rules and regulations, or when supply chain is balanced in a proper way, when every stages or every process of supply chain moving in a proper direction, then obviously we can reduce the risk. It might be in the transportation, or it might be in the warehousing or inventory. Then regular review. Once you set a target, or once the order is done, then obviously till it reaches the customers, we need to review the entire supply chain. Next, streamlined supply chain management. So we'll give a quick example so that you will understand what is streamlined supply chain. You can read it here. It refers to the optimization and simplification of supply chain processes to make them more efficient and cost effective and responsive. So we'll give a best example so that you will understand. So as I said, from the supplier, the raw materials will reach to the manufacturing unit. From there, the production will happen, and we'll get the finished goods in the production unit or manufacturing unit. So instead of sending that to the warehouse, to the distributor, to the wholesaler, to the retailers, to the customers and the consumers, so instead of following this entire supply chain, we are going to stream it, or we are going to streamline. We are going to cut all the members in between, like, so soon after the manufacturing of finished goods, we will send directly to the customer itself. So what happens when we're doing like this? So here distribution cost is, we can eliminate, and wholesaler cost is eliminated, retailer cost is eliminated, and the way and the inventory cost is eliminated. So understood? Streamline supply chain is nothing but we are going to cut it. We are going to cut or optimize the supply chain to a shorter supply chain so that we can make efficient supply chain. You can see the Zara direct, soon after the production of the Zara item, they will send it directly to the through the outlets itself. They won't use the distributor, wholesaler, retail concept is not there. Directly soon after the Zara produces a product, it will send to the outlets. From there itself the sales happen, so that they can cut the cost of the middlemans. Next, important, green supply chain management. So it's a new approach in the supply chain management that incorporates environmental concern in every stage. So if from every stage it includes from farmer till the point of origin to the point of consumption, green supply chain is initiated. So green supply chain is nothing but from procurement of raw materials, or in the manufacturing, or in the packing. In the packing is nothing but instead of doing the plastic packing, we are going reduce the pollution and we'll go for the paper packing, or some other we use some other materials for packing which is environmental friendly or eco friendly. So in the manufacturing also, instead of using the machines or polluting the environment, you're going to use the traditional method, or we are going for the green methods. In the same way, distribution, instead of distributing in the petrol vehicles or the diesel vehicles, instead of polluting the environment, you're going to use the electric vehicles for the transportation or to the distribution. And soon after that, the disposal is also there. The same way you can see the company is there, the Patagonia is there, encourages product recycling and uses the organic cotton. So that is where the companies are going for a green supply chain, so that you can reduce the waste or you can protect the environment. Next is the major practices in green supply chain. So what are the major practices they're going to follow in green supply chain? Now you understood what is green supply chain. So the main focus of green supply chain is to reduce the pollution or to keep the environment or eco-friendly products. So green procurement is nothing but buying from the suppliers that follow sustainable practices, or using recyclable or biodegradable raw materials. So when you are procuring the raw materials from the suppliers, that should be a biodegradable raw materials. That is where you can have a best practice of green supply chain. Then eco design. So designing the product using the less energy or create less waste. When more waste is there, then we are going to pollute the environment. When eco design or eco friendly design is there using the less energy, then obviously we will have a best practice of green supply chain. Then green manufacturing. So using the cleaner technology or cleaner production techniques to reduce emissions waste. So as I said, instead of using more of machine and polluting the products, we are going for traditional methods of production, where you can reduce the 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 emission of the smoke, or the any pollutant water leaving to the river, or or instead of polluting the air or water, then we are going to use traditional method for manufacturing. That's it. The green or logistics, as I said, so instead of transporting in fuel vehicles, we are going to have the electric vehicles for the transportation or logistics. The reverse logistic is important. We'll give an example what exactly the reverse logistic is. So once take for example, if you had ordered any kind of product from Amazon or Flipkart or any e-commerce platforms, so once you order, you will get take for example, if you are ordered a shirt or a formal shirt, then once the order is done, the order will be taken up, they will pack it, they will send it, and you will receive it. So after receiving the exact product from Amazon or Flipkart, you will wear it, you will see whether that is fitted or not. If the shirt is not fit, if it is too loose, or if it is too loose or too tight, what you will do, you will start returning the products. So when you are returning the product, the reverse logistic will start. So reverse logistics will start. So when you initiate the return, what will happen, the return will be triggered. Then what happens, the Flipkart or the Amazon person will come and collect the products using some OTP, or they will check the product whether it is damaged or not, or whether it is used or not. Then that product is sent back to the unit, and again after that only the amount is refunded, or again the new product is returned. That is how reverse logistics starts. Then supply chain sustainability. So sustainability is nothing but, so sustainability refers to the doing business or operations without negatively impacting the environment or our community or the society where we belong. So understood? Sustainability is nothing but, it is nothing but you're going to operate, or you're going to do the operations without negatively impacting the environment or the society where we live. That is sustainability. So supply chain sustainability is not, but if the supply chain has to achieve sustainability, or the supply chain has to have positive impact on the environment, then obviously it should follow the sustainable things. That is nothing but integration of environmentally and socially responsible practices. If you are not maintaining the practices of environment and society or social, then obviously it will have a negative impact. You can see the core elements of supply chain sustainability. One is the environmental responsibility. Environmental responsibility is nothing but reducing the carbon footprints. Footprint is nothing but the emission, it might be the use of more of carbohydrates things, or carbon monoxide, or the any elements which is harmful for the uh, environment. As I said, that is why the supply chain is going for green supply chain. So minimize the waste and pollution. Then use renewable energy. That is also a very much important. Then next we have social responsibilities. One is environmental responsibilities, next is social responsibilities. That is ensure ethical labor practices. Ethical labor practices is not but providing the minimum wages to the employees or to the laborers, or ensuring proper working environment either in the manufacturing unit or anywhere supply chain. So there are a minimum wages act is there, or the factors act is there, that will look after the social responsibilities. Next, promote health, safety, and fair wages, support local communities. So the company should be socially benefit for the society without harming the society. Next, economic viability. So economic viability is nothing but maintaining profitability, invest in innovative and resource efficiency. So every time the economic viability is nothing but simply you can't produce bulk products, so where you will waste your resources, waste your human resource, or waste your capital. So if a company has to achieve economy of scale or economic viability, it should produce the product in a limit. So how much demand is there, that much should be produced, and for that the company can take the profit. If the company is investing on if the company is investing on the so if the company is investing on the innovation or the new technology, obviously it will have a more impact or more efficient supply chain. Next, build resilient and cost effective supply chain. As I said, if you want to build a supply chain with a less cost, then obviously we should cut down the cost wherever it is possible. So wherever the cost reduction is possible, at that time we want to cut down the cost so that it will not impact on the customers. If a company, or if a factory, or if a manufacturing unit, or if a business is following these environmental responsibilities, social responsibilities, and economic viability, then the company will have a sustainability. That is nothing but company will do the business without having negative impact on the environment. So this is all about supply chain sustainability. So these are all the contents of unit number 1. So it started from the objectives, and we had the stages, the cycle view, the process, we had the logistics part we had, and also inbound outbound logistics was also there. Then we had the green supply chain, then we had supply chain sustainability. So these are all the aspects of unit number 1. Thank you.